Hey everybody, welcome to Thingamajigger Thursday, where we go over unique and uncommon tools once a week. In today's episode, I'm going to go over what last week's mystery tools were. Then we're going to take a sneak peek at next week's mystery tools. Then we're going to take a look at a tool that I regret buying, but I actually kind of like. Then we get to mark a tool off the Stumper list, because while researching these tools today, I found this one. Here we go. Hey, and as we're getting started, so I'll tell you what, these buggers were tough, okay? I knew what they were, but finding the details on them, holy smokes, it's next to impossible at this point. Okay, so starting off with this one, this is a Ackerman Johnson, and it's really, really hard to see. I didn't even bother to cover it up last week because it's so hard to see. And it's actually inverse, or a mirror image of the Ackerman Johnson name, right printed there. But it's a lead anchor, or expanding lead anchor, or caulking anchor set tool. So these are lead expanding anchors, or caulking anchors, or machine screw anchors as they're sometimes called, because they have actual machine threads in them, just like this. And you can get them obviously in different sizes. They got actual screw threads in there, bolt threads. This part is steel, this part here is lead. Now they're called caulking anchors because the lead, as it's expanding, it kind of acts like a caulk and it seeps into all the little grooves or divots or dimples or whatever within the hole. So mostly these are used for, anchoring into concrete or brick, masonry type applications where you're going to have imperfections in the hole, all right? It's not like drilling a nice smooth hole in steel. All right, so unfortunately, I don't have the proper size. This one is a 3/8 set tool, and the biggest one I have, I believe, is a 5/16. So the way this works is you tap, after you drill your hole, you tap your anchor with a hammer until it's flush, and then you take your tool and punch it in until the outside expands into the material, whether it's concrete or brick. And I believe that's why this is mirror image. That way when it stamps into the lead, it would leave the inverse impression and it would read Ackerman. Now this one here actually shows the name on it, and it's another brand. This one here actually is an Ackerman Johnson. Hopefully the camera can get that. I know the light kind of sucks, but so that's what that is, and we did have correct guesses on that, so that's awesome. And another thing to note is that as you tighten down your fastener, this wedge back here will pull into the lead expanding fastener, or expanding anchor, and widen as it goes. So it basically almost becomes a permanent fixture. You'd have to drill it out. So yeah, that's what that one is. Now this next, real quick, both of these are probably from the mid-1900s, 1940s, 50s-ish, all right? I had a really tough time finding any specific information on either of these. I couldn't find dates. I couldn't find these tools in a catalog. I do have some photos here of the Ackerman crap that I found off of eBay and other websites, but nothing specifically from the Ackerman Johnson company. A lot of times, like I've said before, I go to archive.org and I'll find old tool catalogs literally from late 1800s all the way through current, present day. And I could not find an Ackerman Johnson catalog. I'm sure there's something out there, but after 3+ hours today, I could not find anything. Well, for you guys, it was yesterday. Now this one here, we did have some basically correct answers. It is called a sled runner. When you're setting bricks and blocks, like cinder blocks, you use a tool similar to this to run along the joints in between. So this side would be called a round or half round, even though it's completely round. And this side would be called a V-groover. But it's a sled runner, and this, or long joiner, I believe is the other name for it. And I'm gonna throw a few photos up here, or at least a photo of tools similar to this, but not double-sided. Now, I was able to find, and I'm almost kind of surprised somebody didn't call me out on this, because I didn't see this before. But right in here, there's some stamped writing. Let's see if the camera can even get it. It says Crescent Steel Company, Detroit, 26, Michigan, or something like that. And holy cow, I cannot find diddly squat about a Crescent Steel Company other than apparently there was a Crescent Steel Company in Philadelphia in the early 1900s. It was actually patented or established in 1865, but that was in Philadelphia. This one says Detroit, Crescent Steel Co. Detroit, patent pending. Now, just judging by the manufacturing processes, you know, even the welding on it, that definitely looks like hand welded, nothing spectacular in there. It's kind of gross looking, to tell you the truth. And the rivets here and just the overall look and feel of it, I'm kind of guessing mid to early 1900s, maybe a little bit later. I couldn't find anything on this Brixmint. I couldn't find anything on DeClark Bros Inc. concrete products. But this Crescent Company, even though this one says Detroit, if it did come from or originate from the original Crescent Steel Company out of Philadelphia, they were basically bought out or absorbed into another company called, well, dang it, I cannot remember the name of that. I'm gonna put it up here during video editing so you can see it. But they were absorbed or bought out by this other company that actually ended up having multiple companies under that cover name. Again, I'm going to guess mid 1900s, maybe a little earlier, early 1900s. I was not able to find a single tool like this, a double-sided or two-sided sled runner. But holy crap, this is really, really cool. I'm gonna have to keep digging into it, and I will let y'all know if I find anything else. So there we go on that, and we did have a couple correct guesses on that. It's basic function anyway, not the details on it. So let's move on to next week's mystery tools. We'll start with this little bugger here. Kind of goofy looking. It's a little pack of 3 of these things. They got a little lip on one side, and this little funky hook looking thing on another side. And yes, I'm covering up the name right now, or a name on it. And I'm not entirely sure what they're for. I still have to look it up myself, but that's one of next week's tools. And then this guy here, there's a piece broken off here, and I don't know if that's an important part or not. I'll have to look that up later. So we got a crimping end here, it looks like, and it's adjustable. You can flop this around or rotate it for different sizes. It's detented and labeled, kind of neat. So that'll be next week's mystery tool, well, the combination of them. All right, moving on. Let's do the love-hate tools. So these little kits here are so cute. I bought this one from an Epi's tool store in New Jersey, Freehold, New Jersey, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. And I already have multiple sets of all these specialty bits, you know, especially these security bits. You know, they're nice to have, but I've already got those. I got about 1 million Phillips and everything else. So that wasn't really the selling point for me. The selling point was this really slick little 1/4-inch impact drive ratchet. And I've actually used it a handful of times. But it generally just sits in the drawer. Honestly, if I could have just bought this ratchet by itself, I probably would have. But it just, you know, comes in a kit, and I want to say it was like 20 bucks. Recently, I come across another kit at an auction. I got 2 of these. And again, I don't even care about these bits. And these bits are those spline drive bits, but it's an actual 1/4-inch drive ratchet. And this guy with the flex head, I really actually like this. Again, I would probably buy this by itself for almost the same price as the whole kit, because getting into, you know, hard to reach places up behind a dash with either one of these, whether it's a screw or a bolt, you can reach up in there and just, you know, and it's super, super handy. You get more leverage than say a stubby Phillips or straight slot. And I do really like just the ratchet. I wish I would have bought just the ratchet without the extra crap, because these I'm probably never going to use. I always go straight to a 6-point socket if I can. So that is my kind of wish I didn't buy it, but kind of glad I did, because I actually really like it. Even though I hardly ever use it, they're just kind of cute. Now, this one here, we had this on an episode several months back, and holy crap, I mean, I looked and looked and looked and looked, and we had all sorts of guesses, and I had guesses. We were thinking like spring expanders or C-clip expanders. What was the other one? We had several other guesses, and I can't even remember what I initially thought it was, and I literally couldn't find it. It's been sitting in our Stumper pile for a while. But I just found it today in an old catalog. I'll put the photo up here of the listing for it. And can you believe it? It's simply for straps on hoses, old school like wire strapping to connect hoses to nipples. And you would put this tool on there once you got the wire in place, and you could use this to spread the wire to tighten it, and then use this end to bend it over and, you know, keep it snug. So holy crap, super, super cool. I didn't actually catch the year of that listing. I'll go ahead and put that up here as soon as I'm done talking about it. But yeah, really awesome. I'm glad I found this one, even though it was accidental. So that'll be it for today. I appreciate everybody stopping by. If you got any suggestions for future tools or programming notes, you know, whether I should change something up, please feel free to throw something down in the comments. Otherwise, make sure you do this on your way out, and we'll see you next Thursday.